Okay, let's see what happens here. We're live, and just gonna wait for people to join the chat. Hey, how do you say your name? Would it be XD? I don't know, but hey, XD TV. Jessica Noel says, "Hey faggot." Ketchup Illusion says, "Yeet." So this is going well so far. I've already been called by my first name. Do you want to have a copy of do you want to look at the live stream chat so you can also see what they're saying? Unlucky.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out right now. I'm going on to your video, I believe. Your stream.
Okay. Yeah, you just pop out the chat on that, and then should be good.
Yeah. Alright.
Friend Gaffer the Goat on Xbox. I don't know. I got too many friends. I need to add some people though. There's been some people that have been asking me to add them for a long time, and I need to do it. I need to add some people and play with them and be nice and interact with people, but I'm antisocial. Um, I need to know if you guys can hear the other person here in the Discord. He goes by the name Unlucky Rage, and today we're gonna be talking open. We're gonna be talking about. Wow, I just read the chat and spoke at the same time. We're gonna be talking about Star Wars Battlefront 2, and we're not gonna try to reach a conclusion here as to what a good game is or whatever, because that does really come down to your personal preference. But we are gonna talk about
Yeah.
Star Wars Battlefront 2, and we're gonna share our opinions about it. If you guys have been following me on Twitter today, you could have seen me and him going back and forth on it. And what I hate about Twitter debates and Twitter arguments is that there's little things I want to see. Like there's little or like want to say, there's little things I want to bring up and say, and I it's just harder on Twitter. It's harder. And so I like to do voice to voice. If a back and forth goes on long enough on Twitter, I'll usually invite someone to an Xbox party, Discord, or Skype, because it's okay, I actually want to talk to you because it's so impersonal on Twitter. There's things that just can't be said as easily. So here we are anyway. A little premise. So a little bit of backstory, I guess, for both of us would be that I started off loving Star Wars Battlefront 2 when it came out, and I thought it had way too much hate mongering on it. I still think it does. I think it is a game you can have fun in, and a game that I did have fun in. But the part of me that looks at shooters really critically and really in a way that is nitpicking in a lot of ways, the game just sends off a lot of red flags, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And unlucky Rage here really, and I don't want to speak for you, but if I'm right to say you enjoy Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's it.
Okay. And would you consider yourself and this is, I'm not trying to trap you here because I'm obviously, if you're subscribed to me, I'm a fan of certain games. Are you a fan of it, or do you just think it's fun and you enjoy it occasionally, or are you into it?
I'd say I'm a fan of it. I play it pretty regularly. So, yeah, I'd say I'm a fan.
Okay. So can you guys hear him okay? I need a little bit more confirmation on that. For some reason, XSplit isn't letting me click things right now, so I'm just gonna have to wait a second. Someone says nope. Okay. This is not a good time for these technical issues. Because XSplit's telling me no. And I don't want that. Alright, come on. Can I minimize it? Is XSplit really going to lock me out of clicking on anything? Hey, Boom, Marble Duck told me you're a competitive Battlefield player. He told a lot of people I was a competitive Battlefield player. The fucking... What a great guy. Oh, you guys can hear him. Okay, well then I won't worry about the fact that XSplit won't let me click on things. I won't worry about that then. There we go. that's probably not helping. Is Nvidia's on trying to record things? Okay,
Hmm.
okay, there we go. But now I've changed scenes, so there, go back to this one. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna stop being autistic, and we're gonna actually talk about this. So unlucky. I want if you want to bring up Twitter real fast, if you want to, and then just pick like one point. You'll pick the starting point of like what you first want to talk about. What I said, just like keep it like really contained, and then we can just kind of blow it up from there.
Uh, so, hmm, man, it's hard.
Don't worry about offending me or anything. I'm sure you're not.
I mean, I want to know why. I don't think Battlefront 2 is that big of an improvement over Battlefield 1 because that was the thing I started with originally when I responded to you. I guess that's a good starting point.
Okay. So like that. So like Battlefront 2, yeah. So that's where it started. Is like I was saying that Battlefront 2 isn't as it's not a massive improvement over Battlefront 1, you know? And I guess that is wrong. And I do think that the way I came off probably by saying that if you improve on a hot pile of garbage, you get a slightly less hot pile of garbage. Obviously, there are thousands of games that disprove that. I mean, Battlefield 4, everybody knows how Battlefield 4 launched, and like now I think it's one of the better shooters in the world. I think it's on it, like even when I'm not in the mood for it or it makes me angry, I'm just like, that's a really good, good game. And where it started was so much worse than where it is right now. So obviously, no, like Battlefront 2, I would say is a more complete, better game than Battlefront 1. That being said, Battlefront 1 did set the bar kind of low, I think. Battlefront 1, I had fun in it for months, approximately 2 months before I just ran out of content. And then all I kept getting was buy DLC, buy DLC, buy the DLC. And when I eventually bought all the DLC, I just realized that even if this game had more maps and more weapons, it's still a small game in a lot of other ways. So on Twitter when I said that yeah, it's not I don't think Battlefront 2 improved on that one like meta aspect of Battlefront. Battlefront 2 did not improve on that one aspect of Battlefront 1, which was that I think it was too simple. I think it plays a little dated. I think it could have gone to be a little bit more like Battlefield, a little bit bigger, a little bit more immersive, a little bit more sandbox and less contained. And that's what I wanted from it. Um, but what are the things you think about this? What are the things that you think Battlefront 2 did better than Battlefront 1 to like a great degree? Like what do you think made Battlefront 2 or makes Battlefront 2 so much better?
Well, of course, the first thing that comes to mind is the Starfighter, like Star Combat.
Hmm.
Because I remember in the original Battlefront 2, it was like really stunted. Like you had to rely on some weird moves, and it was more who got to the power ups first,
Yep.
depending on who got heroes and who was able to dominate. And it was just terrible, kind of. While in Battlefront 2, it just feels like you have more freedom to move around and like if you're a really good fighter, you can easily dominate the game and just destroy people, get the heroes quickly, and just help your team out.
Hmm.
And it's just how I see it. And
Well, Battlefront 2 is a lot less of a rush for the power-ups, which I think did get annoying in the first game. But I just but it still is kind of also a rush for the power-ups though, if you think about it. Like it is still like if you're doing well, the game makes you do better, which is kind of like the philosophy behind like kill streaks in general, but it gets to a point that I feel like you just do well enough until you can get to things that are much easier at killing, like vehicles and heroes. Because I think the base gunplay isn't satisfying. That's my personal thing. Um, Actually, you know what? Let's talk about the gunplay. because the gunplay is something I've had a problem with Battlefront 1, Battlefield 1, and Battlefront 2. And just those three games. And let's talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it's just my point of view, but I just feel like these games are aimed at more casual, or like people who don't really care to be competitive at all, just are trying to chill down, maybe like use some things to their advantage to get a kill that you normally can't do in other games and not have to worry about trying to get better to actually do anything.
Hmm.
And so in this new Battlefront 2, there are a lot of weapons that like the base weapons you get. I know for the assault one is of the probably the best gun for the assault class because it's just really well done.
Hmm.
And it's just super easy to get kills. You get super streaks, and like even when I was started out, it was kind of easy to just dominate with it. But as time gets goes on, you'll meet better plays, and like it's just not as easy to do it.
Hmm.
And it's just for people who want to go into depth with the combat system, and I just think it's just trying to be simple on purpose.
But that's the thing though.
Simple.
But it's not really that simple though. Like I think that it's unnecessarily complicated. I mean, you have guns that do a crazy amount of DPS, just an amazing amount of damage per second, such as and I forgive me for this, I don't remember the names of all the blasters. What is the smaller one, the two-handled one, the really rapid fire one? It fires green blaster bolts. I forget what that one is called,
I'm
but
bad with names too, but I don't know what that is either.
but
But I
it's
know what you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah.
that weapon up close kills immensely fast. I relate that to being more of an SMG than like a blaster rifle, which is fine.
Yeah.
Um, but that gun kills very quickly up close. But yet, so does the burst weapon. Sometimes I have game clips recorded where sometimes people just soak up 4 shots, and other times I just immediately domed them. The kill times are inconsistent. And I know why. It's because I'm fighting people that or I'm fighting classes that have varying amounts of health with weapons that have varying levels of DPS, with weapons that have unpredictable spread and way more recoil than the first Battlefront, which I thought was going to add a degree of skill to the game, but it's not really controllable. It's inevitable. It's a spread that you really can't tame. You can't put like a muzzle brake on the gun and like tame your spread or anything like that. It's really hard to tame your spread, which encourages close range combat. So people want to get in each other's faces with most of the blasters other than the scout weapons. So people need to get in each other's faces because of the spray nature of the weapons. People have varying amounts of health, and this creates, in my opinion, an unpredictable clusterfuck because people are pushing each other very, very quickly. And they're using weapons that do not kill very quickly or consistently. To me, that makes the gunplay random, not casual, not simple. Call of Duty has simple gunplay. But yet I think Call of Duty has better gunplay just because wherever your sight is at the time of firing, that is where the hit scan will go. So it's about controlling the recoil and pacing your shots. Whereas I think honestly you could lose a gunfight in Battlefront 2 because of the spread you can't control. Even when tap firing, it'll still do random spread. I've tested it. Yes,
Mm.
the spread is referred to as bloom. Bostock said it here. It's what makes gunfights inconsistent at longer ranges, and it was what makes and but the thing is that the time to kill, you okay. This is and if you've been on my channel, I don't want to talk over you for a long time here, but if you've been on my channel for a while, you know I always say you can't stack functions. Like you can't have guns that have bad damage, bad accuracy, low ammo capacity, or slow velocity, or anything like that. And those are fine unless you pair them with the wrong time to kill. So if you have the weapons of Battlefront 2, that's not inherently bad. Then you pair it with the time to kill and the health of the players in Battlefront 2, you get weird bullets. I know they're not bullets, but you know what I mean. Bullet spongy gunfights. You know, people are tanking each other or melting each other, and there's like very little in between. And that encourages people to use sniper rifles or rush you or just nade the shit out of you because the gunplay isn't consistent and believable.
Mm.
Not
Yeah, I get that.
not believable, I should say consistent. It's not learnable. Like you can get used to it, but I don't think you can learn the weapons because at the end of the day, you're going to be dealing with that bloom that you can't control. You can't put a cap on that bloom. So I think the gunplay in that game is what really killed it for me. Is that I can get over the fact that the galactic conquest, eventually, if you play through it all the way, it eventually turns into a clusterfuck. I could overlook that, and just say I could just run that by as fast paced. But but we'll we'll slow down there because I can just go on for a long time. Uh, what's something in Battlefront 2 that you think is, I should say, not only just better than Battlefront 1, because I don't think it's too hard to improve on that game. What do you think it delivers over other shooters, other than the fact that it's Star Wars?
Well, I'd say it's less so what the actual gameplay that it has because it's not really special at all. You know, you can find that in many other places. I'd say it's just the variety of the experience because nowadays most shooters have, you know, the same playlist, like it's different variations of deathmatch, capture the flag, or some kind of objective based mode where you're capturing something. While in Star Wars, it has space combat. It also has an objective mode, but the way it presents itself is different from going to a stationary object, or it's just the
Mm-hmm.
way it presents itself just feels different from anything you normally see out there. While it is not new in any way because it's Battlefront has been doing this for a while now,
Mm-hmm.
compared to what you see elsewhere, it's just but that's something that's unique to Star Wars mostly. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's the variety of the experience is really the biggest thing.
Well,
But
and that's what I did like about Battlefront 2 was the ability to like hop into, once you get the battle points, hopping into a starfighter or hopping into a tank, and changing up the way you play, or hopping into a walker or a hero. Yeah, like there's a variety of experience there that's important. But when I look at it, unfortunately, I see it as potential. I don't see it as like a unique experience. I see it as something that could deliver a unique experience in a game that has the potential to be really good. But like I said on Twitter, I think that's what you disagreed with me the most on, was the game limits you unnecessarily. The game is unnecessarily limiting as a shooter. As a Star Wars game, it's beautiful, it has the music right, it has the visuals right, but, and I can get into that more in a little bit because there's actually a downside to that as well, with the way they did that. But I honestly don't. I The game doesn't deliver what I expect from Dice, and it doesn't deliver what I expect from Star Wars, and it doesn't deliver what I expect from a shooter. There's little things like, okay, like I said this before, like, and yes, you made a good point on Twitter that you can't do this in Halo either, but you can't prone, but you also can't mantle. Even Halo added mantling. There's little things like that that like they stack up in my mind. Like, why can't I do this? Why can't I customize my weapons more? Why are all these default faction weapons unable to be unlocked and customized so I can use them everywhere? Why can't I use the First Order blaster that's in the game? They coded it into the game. Why can't I use that wherever I want? Why can't I use the droid's default blaster wherever I want? Why can't I do that? That would add so much more weapon variety and a larger variety of weapons, so you don't just have to wait to play as that class to use that gun, or sorry, that faction to use that gun. You know? Like those little limiting factors that stack up, and eventually you go, this is a very stunted. That's what I said. That's what I mean by stunted. Is it feels limiting.
hey, are you done? Because like
Yeah.
my voice messed up for a second. All right. Well, I understand now what you were meant by limited, but the way I see it is, I'm looking at all the variety of factors, and since it has things that just hold no similarities to the point where they have to have different things made for each of them, like different maps, different limitations put on them. They had so many factors they had to take care of that they had to cut things down and make it so it's balanced. Tried to make it balanced, even though it's a clusterfuck. It'd be even more of a clusterfuck if they just let everything loose and let everybody have everything. And then,
Well, if they wanted balance, they should have
see,
eliminated the star card system, but they didn't.
that's EA's fault. But they did say they're messing and trying to get a new progression
The
system
new
around
progression system
March.
does intrigue me a little bit, but I don't. EA's microtransactions, the microtransactions are EA's fault. I think the star cards were an idea from the first game, and they weren't monetized back then. The star cards are have been around for a while.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that completely. They had
Yeah,
that system in.
so they had that there before. I just don't understand the point. Like I don't understand the point of giving players the ability to, for instance, upgrade their grenades. What is the there's no monetizable point to that. EA might be a little shitty, but they're not stupid. There's no way they're like, okay, we got to make sure our microtransactions are completely arbitrary and have no purpose being here. Like, why can I upgrade? Like, if you can answer me this, why can I upgrade my grenade and why wouldn't I? The gunplay already is extremely inconsistent and your grenades recharge. Why the fuck wouldn't I want more explosive damage or, sorry, a bigger blast radius on my grenade? You just do.
Mm. Yeah, I think that gets into like how you said EA is not stupid and all that. They were trying to make it as best as possible for it to be what's it called again, pay to win, but they still, with everything they were trying to bring over from the first Battlefront, they
Mm-hmm.
just ended up fucking up and making it pay to win anyway. Because there are a lot of star cards in there that are just fucking useless. They're there
Sure.
to inflate the system. And then there are ones that are okay to really good and useful.
I would
It's
say okay to
just
overpowered, or not. I shouldn't say overpowered, not overpowering, but like they're either okay or they're borderline necessary. You know, like,
yeah.
and again, like the grenade one's a big one that's irritated me. Um, but the game doesn't have any. That's the thing. Though, it's like, okay, what's an example of a game that has fucky microtransactions that irritated me? Black Ops 3, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is an example of a game that I think went too far with microtransactions. But the thing is, and hell, I would even say Battlefield 1 goes too far with its DLC plan in general. But there's no reason that EA needed a system that limits customization, increases the amount of time to grind in a way that's unnecessary, and they're gonna keep it. That's what irritates me right now is that they're keeping this star card system around instead of what a tried and true method. And okay, this is another thing. They're trying to reinvent the wheel. A tried and true method is the ability to customize your loadout. So some grenades do more damage than others, but they have a trade-off. You know? But they didn't want to do
Yeah.
that. They just created a system where you can upgrade just about any aspect of your character, any special aspect of your character, and then you go about your merry way. And I don't know why. Then that's another limiting factor. And I am such a spoiled bitch from playing Battlefield. Battlefield 4 really set my standards high for the Battlefield franchise. And when I heard that they were going to be taking over Battlefront, I expected that same level of balance and customization so that I can take a Star Wars blaster, tweak it to how I want it, and take it into a game. Battlefront 2 doesn't even have the same attachments for each gun. It doesn't have the same level of consistency or variety. What I understand that you don't want so much in there that you can't balance it, but why do you want so little in there that I don't want to play after a month? Like nobody wants to, no one on my friends list has played that game after about a month. Like no one did. And I saw its numbers dropping, I saw its player numbers dropping. It was on the Xbox most played list, it was dropping, and I just think it's because people aren't getting an experience.
Yeah, I really agree with that. I understand why people have stopped, and it's all just comes back to the progression system. I don't think it, and yeah, I think that's just it. Like the progression system is the overbearing thing that's affecting everything. I don't think it's because wanted things to be this way. I'm sure that it's their fault as well for making the system the way it is,
Hmm.
trying to bring something from the older game like the cards back to make it work. But they also had to add microtransactions, which is most likely a decision from EA
Oh,
themselves.
it
And
certainly
they
was.
thought they took inspiration from other games and then they just like, we have cards already, we'll just do that. They didn't take into, they didn't, I don't remember the word. They didn't, how the system would affect everything else. I'm pretty sure they were thinking of the system like in early stages and were getting it implemented in the beginning. And by the time then they were making everything else around it, built around it. And they realized they fucked up, but they couldn't do anything about it because it's like too late. You'd have to completely redesign the system, and
Hmm.
now they're forced to do that now. They probably thought they could get away with it, but I'm pretty sure if they actually do a good job redesigning everything, they can open up new avenues, but it's most likely too late, and it's just a learning experience at this point. Oh no.
Sure. I mean, and I think I don't know. I it's hard. It's hard to quantify all of this in words. Because when I'm playing certain games, I get a feeling. Like I I get an emotional response. I get a very primitive level response to certain things, and it's hard for me to put it to words. But I guess I can just paint a picture, hopefully, for the viewers and you. When I load up Star Wars Battlefront 2 and I go into a match, my soldier doesn't get into a hangar and hop into a TIE fighter. I pick it from a menu. I don't customize my gun to play it to its strengths or to rectify its weaknesses, which is the whole point of a customization system. I don't tweak my loadout specifically for the game mode I'm playing. I don't go in and work with my team in order to complete the objective. I load into a Galactic Conquest map, and I I load in, and it's the same thing every match. It's the same thing. I think the game has too many players. I don't think the gunplay and health system, I don't like any of that with that many players on screen. You have people that take too many shots to kill or an inconsistent number of shots to kill. Dealing with multiple opponents is cancer, and teamwork coordination doesn't work very well in a game with no dedicated game chat. The player base is, yes, very casual, and so when you go to play, there's no stakes. There's no anything. You just rush the objective in this very quick battle of attrition, just desperately hoping to survive. And there's something about that just feels, this is going to sound super degrading, and I don't mean this to any of the fans of the game, and keep in mind that I even was a fan of the game when I thought of this. The game feels kind of childish. It just kind of feels, and I am definitely the kind of person that doesn't think that every game has to be tactical, milsim, Rainbow Six. It has to be that. No, I love a good casual competitive shooter. I love them. I live for them. But when I'm playing a game that devolves into the same senseless gunplay, ability spamming, grenade spamming, I go and confront I go flank the enemy, and a heavy turns around and activates his forward shield, right? He activates his forward shield, and he already has more health than me. He already has a gun that can deal more rounds without overheating than I can, even though I think the heavy blasters are super inconsistent with their time to kill.
Yeah,
Um,
they're trash.
they don't get. It's the same thing in Battlefield 1. I stick a heavy, something that's considered a heavy weapon by the game. I stick it in front of somebody and I hold the trigger, and I just hit marker, hit marker, hit marker, hit marker, hit marker. So his gun's not as good, but he's tanking my bullets enough to kill me. That's not his gun skill. The game gave him a shitty gun and the ability to suck up bullets. Or shots, I guess. And that's not... That's the picture I'm trying to paint, is that it doesn't have that feeling of Battlefield 4 where if I flank everybody, I don't have to worry about them having... Do they have 100 health, or do they have 150 or 200? I don't have to worry about somebody pulling out a shield. Well, okay, actually, there's a shield in Battlefield 4, but it's definitely a different kind of shield, and they can't shoot through it. And that's, I guess, I think that's what gets me about it, is that when I go to play it, I don't feel like my skills are required for the match to win. I don't feel like my individual gun skill matters. I don't feel like my weapons matter. I don't feel like my presence on the field matters as much as in games like Battlefield or Call of Duty or Rainbow Six, where my individual skill comes into question several times throughout a game. Same with Titanfall, same with Doom, same with Destiny 2. I don't even like Destiny 2's PvP that much. I think it has a lot of problems, but I at least feel like I can hold my own, and I'm not going to get bullshitted out of... Well, actually, in Destiny 2, I will still sometimes feel bullshitted out of my kills, but still... Why not make a Star Wars game that doesn't reinvent the wheel? Why can't it have consistent and intuitive gunplay? Why can't it have a class creation system like Call of Duty and Battlefield? See, what I was saying on Twitter wasn't bias. I don't honestly, I mean, obviously, yes, sharing an opinion is inherently biased. You can't share your opinion on something without showing some kind of bias. The reason I'm drinking this vitamin water here is because of bias. I like this flavor. And if you'd have told me the flavor was bad and I told you it wasn't, there'd be bias there back and forth. But I don't feel like it's subjective to say that the game is small. And I don't think it's for casuals or it's for a more casual audience is a good defense. I think it's a really weak defense. I don't think it is. I don't think that's a good defense of it. There's tons of good casual competitive games that have a lot of good content, and they have consistent gunplay that rewards skill and isn't random. So I guess now it's your turn to talk because I went on way too long. I apologize.
You're good, but yeah, I see that. But when you went on to gun skill, what I was thinking of was like, let's go back to your same encounter where you're like flanking the enemy, you meet up with a heavy, he turns around and activates a shield. Well, normally people would think that's, you're dead, you give up, or you have to plow them through or something.
A retreat or something.
Yeah.
Or grenade.
What I do, or what at least I think of, is their feet are always exposed, and nobody ever thinks to crouch. So depending on what class you're playing, if you can spam the hell out of their feet and dodge around, because heavies turn around slow as hell and they normally don't expect all that, and you can sometimes kill them really easily, and then you have an open route to keep going because nobody thinks you're going to come from behind them. No, there's several different routes to go, so you can just go around and
I think that, yeah, you can crouch and shoot under the shield, but of course they're shooting you the whole time, and they don't turn any slower. You have the same sensitivity. When they have their shield out, they move slower, but that's if they look at you as you're flanking, they already have extra health. They can already take more damage, and then they pull up that shield. I'm not saying it's a death sentence to the person flanking, and I'm not saying that the heavy is invincible or that you can't take a different route. What I'm saying is it's a game where there's that level of inconsistency. And most players, what I noticed towards the end of my playtime with it was they stopped. They stopped using heavy. They stopped using heavy. People stopped using officer. They went to assault and used either the 2-round burst weapon or the high DPS weapon, or they used scout. And it's because when you give players, and this is what happened to Battlefield 1, when you give players irritating and inconsistent gunplay, what happens is they navigate to whatever out of the difficult to use or awkward to use, I would say awkward, not difficult, the awkward to use weapons, they find the least awkward. So what happened in Battlefield 1, which was really unfortunate, is that everyone just went to sniping. And people wouldn't play the objective for a while, or they would use like one or two medic rifles, or they would use the one good SMG, and they would just use whatever. It doesn't help balance, right? It doesn't help balance to limit people and then make their guns not work, because then they'll just gravitate to the easiest gun to use. The easiest gun to use out of a lineup of difficult to use or awkward to use weapons is way more overpowered than a really good gun in a pile of really good guns. And that's what I would compare like to Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 has really good guns, but its gunplay favors reaction time and accuracy. Its gunplay favors you to have the upper hand or to have the right customization. It's not just use this gun to deal damage, use this gun to deal very little damage. I think that's a bad, bad system to have. And someone here said in the chat, like, that happens in every Battlefield game, but actually it doesn't. Battlefield 1 was the first Battlefield game where I heard constant reports of people just saying, oh yeah, I just snipe, the other guns suck. I just snipe. I just use the snipers. The snipers are the best. And yeah, that happens in Battlefield 4. People snipe, but they also run around with SMGs and shotguns and LMGs. You don't see hardcore LMG users in Battlefield 1. And just like how in Battlefront 2, I noticed less and less heavy users because they don't want guns that suck. So the problem is really not Star Cards. It's not EA. It's DICE's inability. They don't want to fix weapons. And I said this before in a video. Battlefront 2 and Battlefield 1 have the same gunplay issue. Unintuitive, awkward to use weapons, and a longer time to kill than necessary with too many people on screen. That's the problem. That's the problem. And then on top of that, you do little things that irritates me as a Star Wars fan. Are you a Star Wars fan, Lucky Rage? You love the movies, the games, like Force Unleashed, the books, the comics, the action figures, the Lego sets. Are you into Star Wars?
I'm only recently getting into it, but I'd say yeah.
Well, one of the things that irritated me in Battlefront 2 was that there's an AAT on Kashyyyk, which is the droids, the separatist tank. This is such a weird thing, but it just shows a little bit of laziness on DICE's end. That tank wasn't on Kashyyyk. That tank never touched Kashyyyk. That tank can't work on Kashyyyk. Those tanks are for urban environment. This sounds bad, but it's to make a bigger point. On Kashyyyk, the separatists in the movie used spider droids because they have legs and they can crawl over debris and walk through the water. And I'm thinking when I'm watching the trailers for these games that that's what I'm going to see. But I don't see that. Where's the Hellfire droid? Where is the Wookiee vehicles? Where are those? Why is somehow... I don't think Star Wars Battlefront 2 2005 is a great game by today's standards. I think even if they HD remastered Star Wars Battlefront 2 into the Frostbite engine, the original Star Wars Battlefront 2, it would still be outdated in a lot of design ways. But it felt like a Star Wars game. It felt like you're playing through the movies. It felt like a sandbox. You know? When you play on Geonosis, you get the vehicles that were used in Geonosis. When you play in space, you can man the turrets of the Star Destroyer, or you can infiltrate the rebel frigates, and you can get inside. And that is, that to me is important. And that's something I was hoping with Battlefront 2. I was hoping it wouldn't be a simplistic casual arcade game. It would be an arcade style is fine, but why so limiting? Why not have that big sprawling sandbox feeling? That's what makes me mostly mad about Battlefront 2. Even more so than the gunplay, is that there's just so many little lazy little designs. Why can't I mantle? What's the point of me not being able to mantle? What does that do to the game balance if I can just get over the 2-foot wall in front of me? Why can't I? There's little things like that that makes the game feel not modern. It's very pretty, but I think now with games like Battlefield, with games like Call of Duty, Titanfall, people are expecting maybe a little bit more, and maybe that's my problem for expecting too much. and that could very well be, and it could be nitpicky, but the game doesn't feel like there was a labor of love anywhere.
Hmm.
Where's the labor of love? Where's that thing that makes it more cool? That sounds like a dumb sentence. Where's the thing that makes it better? That's the question. Where's the thing that would make me go to the store and buy it over again? What's the thing that makes me play it for the next foreseeable future? It has free DLC, which is cool, but and this might sound bitter, but I hated the DLC for the new one, the Last Jedi one, because it unfortunately just devolved into what every Galactic Conquest map devolves into. It devolved into the same thing. You fight out in the open for a while, and usually you inevitably get pushed back into an area where enemies have to funnel through a tight doorway or hallway or corridor to get to the main objective. That shit's irritating. Why is every Galactic Conquest map, why does every one of them divulge into that? The first game didn't even do that. Every one devolves into the exact same combat loop. Why do you think that is? And do you think that's okay?
Well, I mean, I don't personally don't have a problem with it. Mostly because when you're out in open, like out in open, or if you're always indoors, it's just gets stagnant. It's like you're just the same stuff all the time, and that just eventually gets annoying. But where I see where they put passion and effort into the game, when we were in the tweets, the 3 eras thing, I think that's the biggest reason why there's not such a diversity as you were speaking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Though they have made assets for some of the things, because on Kashyyyk, on the side, you can see one of the vehicles that was in the original Battlefront 2005
Mm-hmm.
background just driving by. So they most likely do have the assets, but
But it doesn't
since
affect
they
your
have to
gameplay.
make it's just there. I just know they have it there. But they since they have to make the same kind of or different vehicles for every single era,
Mm-hmm.
have it like 2005 where each era has like a pretty good amount of vehicles because you're adding another one in, so it's just going to cut it down. And especially with the rising cost of developments and all that,
Mm-hmm.
you're not really a lot more money. And if they didn't do the progression system like the way they did, if they just did something simple, they weren't trying to monetize it, they'd have definitely would have had the time to do more. As
Sure.
I said, that goes back to that. Yeah, I see that as the biggest. There's not as many vehicles, and why they didn't do it. They had to reuse stuff because they just simply didn't have the time to not do anything else. And that's most likely their and EA's fault, but it's not really issue with because I've never been big on this is not historically accurate or
Sure. No.
accurate to canon or whatever.
No,
That's
yeah,
never been my issue.
and that's the thing though, but when you make a game off of a movie series, I just feel like you have to do more than deliver the sights and sounds. You have to deliver the actual gameplay that represents why people like that series. So if there was like a Star Wars series where the Jedi's, if there was a Star Wars game that came out, but the Jedi's didn't have lightsabers, I might scratch my head a little bit. And it's the same thing if you have a Star Wars game that has all eras, but can't fit in a spider droid or something like that. And this is dumb. This is kind. I'm kind of. I know I sound a little bit. A little bit stupid here, probably, and I even think so myself, because I'm just kind of nitpicking that. But but what I'm saying is where is the magic factor? Where is that unspoken thing that video games have or shooters have that keeps people around for years? Like if they didn't have the time or the money, they shouldn't have released. EA delayed Battlefield Hardline. I mean,
But EA also the ones who put Titanfall 2 out in between 2 big game releases and had that thing get fucked.
well,
So
that thing would have been fucked anyway, to be honest. I mean, People like I could get into that. I could get into that, but that launch date was years ago. It had a long time to come back in between people getting tired of Battlefield 1 and people getting tired of Infinite Warfare. They had a lot of time to come back, but people didn't want to play it. They wanted their established franchises. But the thing is EA wanted Star Wars Battlefront 2 out with the launch of The Last Jedi. That's what they wanted.
Yeah.
That's what gets me. Is that Disney, Lucasfilm, EA, I don't really care who anyone blames. Oh god, I have hiccup, sorry. I don't care who anybody blames. It comes down to how it affects me as the consumer. And yeah, I do feel like I'm playing a game that should have taken an extra year. And yeah, and Boss Sox just pointed out, EA just delayed Anthem. They just pushed back Anthem till 2019.
Yeah, but I think with Anthem though, it's most likely because not only the backlash of microtransactions, but also because Anthem, unlike Star Wars, Star Wars Battlefront 2 isn't Star Wars. Like,
Sure.
trying to maximize profits by having it come out near The Last Jedi, and I think that's which had it mess up because 2 years isn't that good enough to have like a really good AAA game.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be pulled off, but more than likely it's not going to go well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't know. But I did want to bring up though, talking about our conversation on Twitter, and I just need to bring it up so I can refresh my memory so I don't say things wrong. So you said on Twitter that you said how, because I called Battlefront 2 small and lazy, which admittedly is pretty harsh and vague, but I still do stand by that a little, not a little bit. I stand by it. You said, how is it small and lazy? From my point of view, there's a lot of effort in having multiple eras, assets for each era, abilities, heroes, weapons, unlocks, vehicles, combat, and so on. And you said limiting design choices, because I talked about how it has limiting design choices. You said, like what? It's no more limiting than any other shooter, including Siege. I wanted to talk about that because I do think it's way more limiting. First of all, just compare it to DICE's track record with giant sprawling sandbox level shooters. It's limiting compared to that. Now, when you take a game like Rainbow Six Siege, which is 5v5 elimination-based combat that usually takes place within the interior of buildings, somehow to me, within that context of what that game is trying to be, which is just a competitive, again, like, not a Star Wars game, not a war simulator. It is 5v5 elimination, attack and defend the building. That game, in that context, is way less limiting than Star Wars Battlefront 2 in the context of creating a Star Wars game with the fucking team that worked on Battlefield. If you told me years before, when I was just getting into Battlefield and I was super elitist towards Battlefield, or about Battlefield, if you would have told me, hey, the people that made Battlefield 3 are making a Star Wars game, I would have shat my pants on the start, on the spot there, from the very start of hearing it, because that's insane. That is insane. And so the fact that what we get is nothing even compared to Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1, in my opinion, is the biggest misstep by anybody that's ever worked on a Battlefield game. I think they picked the wrong time period. I think they executed the plan poorly. I think it's got a lot of problems. And this isn't really a Battlefield 1 stream, so I'm not talking about that as much as I already have. But Battlefront 2 doesn't even compare to Battlefield 1. At least in Battlefield 1, there's a sense of scale. There's a sense of bigness. I don't know the word to use. There's a sense of grand scale.
So when I originally made that comment, I said Siege. I don't know much about Siege, so I was just spitting that out there because I knew you liked Siege, and I wasn't really thinking too hard at that moment. Looking back on it, and seeing how Siege really is, yeah, Siege is way more not anywhere like Battlefront 2 is in terms of being limited
Hmm.
at other shooters now. And like to me it all kind of feels the same. Like you're just doing the same stuff, going after kills, like and COD and such especially. The only thing that's really expansive about it is the weapon selection, and then everything else feels limited. Like some clearly what's better than what, and most
Sure.
people will flock to that to play it. And then it just doesn't feel like you have many options. And if you want to try and be different ahead of you, because you're just gonna have to be far above or like farther ahead of those who are using the better weapons that are just easy kills, that are just spammable, that they can just camp with or whatever.
Sure.
And when it comes to Battlefront, I said it wasn't limited because it just seemed like it had more options to really what you could do.
Hmm.
And while I do know that each feature is limited and like they are limited in the amount of features that really do change the gameplay that they could add, I seem like the content was instead what didn't make it like the what you could do,
Hmm.
like playlists and such, and where you could go was what made it didn't make it so limited compared to how the weapons, yeah, you are really limited to what you can do depending
Sure.
on what kind of play style you are.
Well,
That's
so
just it.
this guy says Paradox and Raindrop says, but can't most games be boiled down to find the objective, shoot bad guys, hope to win? And that's kind of what I'm thinking is that every game, every online shoot. Okay, let's all be honest with ourselves. If you're subscribed to my channel, you're probably an FPS fan, so you'll relate to this. So all of you guys listening, every shooter is trash. Even the good ones. Like we got to learn that. Especially online shooters are all trash. They all will bullshit you out of kills you deserve. They will all frustrate you. They will all have imbalanced weapons, characters, abilities. They will all have a thing you wish they didn't have, and they don't have a thing you wish you had. Whether it's Destiny or Call of Duty or Battlefield or Doom, they're not perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect shooter. In fact, I think there's perfect RPGs. I think there's perfect racing games. I think there's perfect fighting games. I think it's impossible to do a perfect shooter. Shooters inherently, in their inherent nature, shooters are an extension of choice. They are the most human games in existence. This is why I love them. It's why I think a lot of us here watching this love shooters, first person shooters. And even third person as well, but they put you in the perspective of somebody that has to survive other people, other people's attacks, other people's assaults, other people's weapons, other people's tactics. This creates so many variables that it creates frustrating variables. As well as Battlefield 4 is a cool sandbox that can deliver you all these cool experiences, it still can also bullshit the hell out of you and frustrate you. I have left Battlefield 4 matches wanting to delete the game, even though I love the game itself. So every shooter devolves into play the objective, get kills, hope to win. If the objective is to get kills, then just do that. Call of Duty, Battlefield, Doom, Rainbow Six, it all boils down to the same thing over and over again. So, what is the factor that makes a shooter fun? The factor that makes a shooter fun is the people you're playing it against and with. That's what makes online shooters interesting. Because, yes, Call of Duty is very repetitive, but if you play 2 matches of domination in Call of Duty on the same map each time with different enemies, it'll be a different match. They will rush you differently. They'll use a different setup. They have a different play style, different classes. Maybe one team doesn't use smoke grenades. They just go for kills. Other teams play the objective, ignore their kill death ratio, just throw smoke on the objective and capture it under your nose. Like maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe they all are really good at sniping. Maybe one of them has a shotgun. That's what makes a shooter interesting. That's why we play online shooters. That's why people are still playing goddamn Counter-Strike or Rainbow Six, Call of Duty every year, or Battlefield 1 after a year. is because people like that human interaction. So my problem with Star Wars Battlefront 2 and other games, other online shooters that I don't like, it usually comes down to this isn't me fighting other people. This is me fighting the game. I'm struggling with the game to get kills, not with my skill, not with my cunning, my map knowledge. I'm not. I've played a lot of shooters, man, and I will tell you, every shooter that I boot up for the first time, I get my ass kicked in. I get shit on like nobody's business. Nobody's goddamn business. Even with Call of Duty, every year I start off rusty. But I get better. I get better. And I enjoy getting better. So with Star Wars Battlefront 2, when I feel like I'm fighting random spread, when I feel like I'm fighting abilities and not players, when I feel like I'm fighting in an environment on a map or in a type of objective that doesn't really allow me to stretch my legs and play the way I want to play, then yeah, I get very frustrated. My big problem with Battlefront 1, or sorry, whoops. Well, actually, I'll start there. My big problem with the first Battlefront game was that you couldn't really get better at it. The objectives were simple. The gunplay was simple. It was fun. It did its job, but it didn't have enough content. And I don't think every game needs 1,000 weapons to be variety filled. You know, I don't think that at all. Like I honestly, I've played some games recently that don't even have weapon customization, and I love them, and they give me a lot of variety. But the thing about a Star Wars game is Star Wars is so densely populated, the stories and everything, they're populated with planets, weapons, vehicles, droids, Sith, Jedi, bounty hunters. It's a big fucking universe. It's a big goddamn universe. So if you're going to make a Star Wars game, you make a big Star Wars game. I have books I've collected over the years of Star Wars weapons. And I'm like, all a loving game developer would have to do when planning out the weapons for the game is to just look at this goddamn book and just go, oh, that does that. That could fill this role. That could fill this role. But there's none of that. So that's what irritated me about the first Battlefront. And then when it came to Battlefield 1, I hated that the game doesn't give you information, doesn't give you anything consistent or learnable to use. The weapons are all very unpredictable. And again, the game doesn't give you any information as to where enemies are coming from or where they are, unless you want to rely on your teammates, which is always a gamble. And that, I feel like I'm fighting the game. And Star Wars Battlefront 2 is both of those games combined. I feel like I'm fighting the game. I'm not fighting the enemy players. I'm fighting the map design. I'm fighting where the objective is placed. I'm having to deal with the design of the game and not the skill of my opponents. That is something I can't shake with Star Wars Battlefront 2. That's almost everything right there. Like, I just bared my heart when it comes to shooters and when it comes to why I don't like the last 3 DICE games, and more importantly, why I don't like Battlefront 2. Star Wars is a big fucking thing. You have to embrace that or don't do it. You don't make a multiplayer Star Wars shooter unless you plan on including more and doing more and making players feel like they have more. I don't know. So, okay, I should ask you. I think I kind of asked you this earlier, but now in the context of everything I just said, if somebody right now in the chat asked you right now, should I spend like a full price tag on Battlefront 2, what would you answer? If they said, should I buy Battlefront 2?
This is the answer I'd give. Nah, I can't even say that because this is one game I want to say. I'd say no. I'd say look around. Make sure you know get the correct information about the game, and if it's for you, yeah. Because the thing is, even with all its faults, people can like a terrible game or like something that it can be widely known as crap.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I can relate
that's
to
why
that.
I never want to just say go straight after this game. Well, don't ever do it. I just say look around. Try and make sure it's something that will suit you. And then if you like it, get it. If you're skeptical, wait a little bit down the road where it's definitely going to be lower price because I'm pretty sure it's going to be $20 in like a few more months.
Mm-hmm.
That
You're probably
and all
right.
that. And yeah, I'd say to someone.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I would say that to anybody because here's the thing: you're talking to me, and if you, I don't know how long you've been subscribed. I feel like I recognize your profile picture on Twitter, but I don't know. I talk to people and I see people's tweets and stuff all the time, so I sometimes forget faces and avatars and names. But one of the things though is that I loved Infinite Warfare. I mean, yeah, I got bored of it and I got fatigued with it, and the whole gameplay loop got tedious to me. But man, you want to know how much shit I went through on my channel for just liking that game, for just enjoying it? This is the problem with video game opinions, man, is that people judge you and your intelligence and who you are as a person based on what you're willing to play. Part of that makes sense. It sounds bad, but part of it does make sense because video games are kind of a life investment. They're a time investment, right? They're something you put time into and you learn and you practice, you get better at, you indulge in. They're an indulgent thing, right? So yeah, if somebody spends their time in a game you deem to be dumb or bad or poorly made, you might question who they are. But at the same time, we also forget their electronic toys. They're some of us they're the way we relax in the evening. They're a time waster. They're a passion. But at the end of the day, they're toys. And yeah, I got torn apart. I got torn apart for liking Infinite Warfare. I lost subscribers for liking Infinite Warfare and not liking Black Ops 3. And I obviously don't think that's right, that we should berate people and attack people for what they like. So I hope on Twitter and during this, you don't feel attacked by the fact that I think Battlefront 2 is a bad game. And I I don't want anybody watching this to think that if you like Battlefront 2, you're wrong, or if you like it, you're right, or if you hate it, you're right, I should say. There is no right opinions to have with how you spend your time in your home with your money or your parents' money. If you enjoy something, play it. And if your friends or people online don't like that you play it or like that you like it, play it more. Make them mad. You want to piss off angry people? And we're not talking about I mean, I would consider myself to be a ranty, opinionated person, a very critical person. But you want to piss off angry, angry people. You want to piss off people that do not complain from a place of passion. They complain from a place of hierarchy. They think that their opinion's honestly better than yours. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep playing the games. And yeah, someone also said also with movies, anything. If you're not hurting anyone and you're not hurting yourself and you're just enjoying something, then don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But I wanted to have a discussion, a debate, a dialect, something between someone else about Battlefront 2, and I enjoyed talking to you about it. I mean, it's interesting to hear someone else's perspective and hear the chat's perspective. I mean, people in here are saying Infinite Warfare is better than Black Ops 2 and 3. Someone says that they thought that the Sniper Ghost Warrior games were pretty good. And I'm sure there's somebody out there that would, accept them into their cult of liking that game. And there's other people that would shit them. Shit them. You can tell I'm tired. They would shit on them just for enjoying it, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And and tell you what, benefit the doubt to Battlefront 2, it's not as bad as people said. It had hate mongering going on with it. People were telling me that it was pay to win. Oh God, I apologize. What the fuck? I apologize, everybody watching. I can only mute one mic at a time, so I chose to do the wrong one there. Battlefront 2 got so much hate, and people are saying it's pay to win. It's not pay to win. No, it might be unbalanced. I might not like the gunplay. I might not like how I have to play it or how I feel like each game goes, but an evil corporate pay to win scheme, it is not. It is what it is. It's a casual competitive Star Wars themed arcade shooter that I think needs a lot of love. I think it needs a lot of work. I think if they put in the time, this time next year, this time in 12 months, it could be one of the best shooters ever made. If EA does what they did to Battlefield 4 and go, we fucked up, we broke people's trust, we made people feel like they wasted their money, or at least a lot of people, we're going to reinvent this so that in a year it doesn't even look like the same game. It's a better game. So we will see. We will see what happens. And thank you so much for talking and hanging out. Sorry if I talked over you or anything. In fact, if there's anything you wanted to say, I'm in streaming headspace right now, so I'm just talking. And I don't do enough of these debates to be good at them. But if you would like to like tell my viewers something or share an opinion about gaming or Battlefront 2, I don't care. Just go for it.
Well, one thing I like to say is it's a theme now that games will get better in a year after launch because they're just that incomplete by the time they launch. So and based on what I'm seeing from what DICE is doing, and especially from Criterion Games, that it's actually listening and communicating with people in the community and talking a lot. I feel like, yeah, this time next year it'll be better. And right now it's in the trashy state, and I don't expect the hate train to stop anytime soon, especially with the resurgence after the EA calling a conference or whatever, where people remember that they're bringing back microtransactions later.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a thing that's going on. I don't know if it's ever going to stop. And just, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I don't really have anything else to say.
Well, it's been nice talking to you, and yeah, I agree. I think that EA might be a piece of shit. Let's even over exaggerate and say that they're evil. Even if so, they know that it plays really well with gamers to bring a game back. It played well with gamers when Battlefield Hardline released all of its DLC guns to all players. It played well when Battlefield 4 got all of its fixes and free DLC for everybody. And when inevitably, hopefully within my lifetime, Battlefield 1 gets something I will properly refer to as a love patch, or things that will bring people back, things that will bring people to the game again that don't like it. That stuff plays really well with people. And you said on Twitter, Rainbow Six Siege was garbage a while back, but I think Ubisoft realized there's a lot of potential here if we don't fuck up. So I see Star Wars Battlefront 2 as potential. And that's a good way to look at games you guys don't like, is that they could potentially within a year become a game you love. And so let's just give it time. So thank you, Unlucky Rage. Do you want to like post a link in the chat or something? You want me to post a link in the chat? Do you have like a channel? You want people to follow you on Twitter? Say hi to you?
Nah, not really. I'm pretty toxic on Twitter. So
Okay. Well then I will just say everybody thank Unlucky Rage for coming to my little debate topic. It was a debate topic, but we really didn't debate, did we? We just kind of conversed. So I appreciate that it was just kind of conversial. So thank you so much for showing up, Unlucky, and it's nice talking to you.
yeah, you too, man. It's nice you gave me a chance.
Oh yeah, you had good points. Okay, guys, I have left that. I will sit here and read the chat for a little bit. You guys can talk to me for a bit. If you're watching this later in post, I'm sorry if the debate wasn't as cutthroat as you wanted it to, be, but hey, I mean, it was cool. I don't know. I don't have a problem with it, and whoa, fuck, I'm fucking up my monitor. I didn't have a problem with it. I don't want debates to turn into toxic screaming matches, so I'm glad that went as adult as it did. So hope you guys are okay with that. And if you're just watching again, like after this is uploaded, I don't know why you sat through this whole thing, but I'm gonna sit and talk to my chat for a little bit. So hi everybody, how are you doing? Hey Crimson Tiger, Brian the Submarine, Sugar Boy, Licky Lime, Kino or Kino, probably Kino, Zack Attack, Paradox and Raindrops, Jonathan, Bracco, Unlucky Rage Gaming. That was the guy we were just talking to. uh, you didn't sound terrible over the mic. It was fine. Do you recommend getting the new Wolfenstein? I don't have the new Wolfenstein actually. I'm kind of hoping a subscriber will just gift. That's the kind of game that you just kind of hope you get gifted eventually, because I can't justify buying story games like that because I beat them really quickly and then I never touch them again. So yeah. I feel like for the post sort of. Do you hate Jake and Logan Paul? I wouldn't have a conversation with them, but I don't know if I hate them. And if anything, it makes people that aren't them look better, so who knows. Do you think Battlefield 2 should have a remaster? Battlefield 2 remastered would be really cool. As long as it shipped with a full Battlefield game or in a collection, I think they need to do a Battlefield collection. They just released 1942, Vietnam, 2142, and Battlefield 2. I know that's not the correct order, but if they would release all of those remastered, even if they just remaster it into HD, they don't even put it into a new engine, I think that'd be really cool. What do you think of Sea of Thieves? It looks really fun. I don't know if I'm going to buy it, but it definitely looked pretty cool. I might, again, that might be one of those games if I get gifted it, I'll play it. If not, whatever. One thing, Kavos is absolute shit. What are you? I don't know who that is. I've heard the name, but I'm playing Battlefield 2 Special Forces right now. Good times. I wouldn't mind a Vietnam. I feel remastered games suck. Don't at me. Yeah, I can feel that sometimes as well. My next Battlefield, Bad Company 3, a modern day Battlefield game, or Battlefield 2143. Yeah, 2142 sequel. Yeah, either of those would be perfect. Third best Vietnam, fourth best World War II. World War II is kind of down there. I've been playing with these fucking funnels this whole time. These like rubber funnels that I can use to load my BB guns, and I can wear it as a hat. Star Wars is a bit overrated. You're talking about my childhood, my man. You're talking about my fucking childhood. Be nice. Star Wars was a huge part of my life. That's like, let's see. Star Wars might be overrated, but is my Lego ATST overrated? No, this thing's fucking rad. Who would consider this to be overrated? Look at him. He walk. But most importantly, he expensive. It's funny, my girlfriend wasn't into Legos at all until this year, until we started actually buying sets and building them together. And she has the same opinion about these things that I do. They are way overpriced, especially if you're an adult. But God, they're fucking fun. So yeah, my Lego AST. What are those gloves for? Oh, these are just the gloves I wear when my hands are cold. They don't constrict me because they're kind of loose and a little bit torn up, but they don't let my hands get super cold. But see, it's got a little gear on its back. Look, guys, its head's turning by itself. Just like in the movie. Anyway. Are there any games that you feel you'd find interesting to have a bit of a constructive discussion about, because it'd be pretty lit to have a discussion about more games? I don't know. Maybe. Um, I hate everything. Got a lot of hate for liking Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Yeah, a lot of people did. Star Wars and Call of Duty now have something in common that I never expected. The fan base doesn't know what they want. Force Awakens plays it too safe. It's too nostalgic. It's just nostalgia bait. It's not a new movie. It's literally just New Hope and Phantom Menace mixed together. And then Last Jedi comes out, and it's all like new and unique. It has elements of the prequels and the original and stuff you've never even seen before in Star Wars. It's original, which is weird. And then it's like, what the fuck did they do to my Star Wars? Oh, my Star Wars. They ruined my Star Wars. I'm just, you can like it or not like it, but don't pretend that it ruins Star Wars, because the only way to not ruin Star Wars is to just watch the original trilogy and never watch anything else or risk having your fragile fandom hurt. Battlefront 2 could be backwards compatible. I want it. That would make sense if they turn the fucking servers on and then they do that. That'd be kind of cool. Have you played any of the Dark Souls series? I've played a little bit of the first one, but I'm not one of those people that compares games actively to Dark Souls because that's gotten pretty cringy. Well, so are the people that get mad at it, to be honest. But one of the things about it, though, is playing Monster Hunter. It did kind of make me think to myself, maybe I will buy the Dark Souls remaster, and maybe I will play through it. It's kind of a rite of passage, right, for a lot of gamers to play through the first Dark Souls. So I might do that, see if I like it. Opinions on the war mode? I'm guessing you mean for COD World War II. It was a great thing to introduce. It's not always my cup of tea. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it is. It doesn't take away anything, in my opinion. It's there. It's fun. Whatever. I have not played the Mafia series ever. I've heard they're pretty good. I've heard the third one is disappointing, but I don't know. I have no context. So, guys, the top opens up so you can access the inside, or you can just. I have a little stormtrooper poking at that, but just the hatch on the top can close. Isn't that fucking cool? It looks really. It's not canonical, but it looks really cool next to my turbo tank. I'm an adult. I'm gonna be 20 soon. What the fuck? I'm gonna be 20, guys. If anybody's got a crush on me, let me know now. Yeah, the AI in Battlefield 2 are relatively clever. I always thought that as well. They do work together. They will actually flank you too. As kind of one of those people, I can say that the company's responsibility to know the fans and give them what they want. I'm gonna give them. You know what? That's actually a really good point. Give people what they didn't know they wanted. And that is kind of what Black Ops 2 was. It was pretty controversial. It wasn't immediately loved when it came out, but like halfway into the life cycle, and then after Call of Duty Ghosts came out, people were like, "Wait, I really like what Black Ops 2 did. I really like it." Do you play COD Zombies? I haven't played it in a while. Are you convinced that Treyarch is developing Black Ops 4? If so, aren't they beating a dead horse? Yes. I mean, Black Ops 3 pretty much proved that the Black Ops series doesn't really need to have any sort of continuity or flow of story, so I guess whatever. But if they do that, it'll just be simply for brand recognition. It's because the name Black Ops makes a lot of gamers' panties wet. So, yeah. Yeah, the Dark Souls community is pretty elitist. The Dark Souls community, the Counter-Strike community, and the fucking Battlefield community. They get on my nerves. They do, they do, they do. The Mafia series is pretty good. The third one is as good as the first and second because it's more focused on the story than actual gameplay. And even then, the story was lackluster. Okay. I defined myself as a sniper in COD. I don't fucking go for it, man. Who cares? I know you're saying you just quoting my video. I like when people reference me to me. What the fuck was Black Ops 3's campaign? I fucking gave up. I mean, I beat it, but like halfway through it, I just checked out mentally. I was like, this is just random at this point. This is just nonsense. I don't like it. It had some pretty moments. It had some fun moments. Like every COD campaign, but it didn't have that like grounded realism of the Modern Warfare series or the gritty thriller nature of Black Ops 1 and 2, and it didn't have interesting ideas like a Call of Duty Ghosts. Like it was trying too hard to be interesting and it came off as pretentious. I hate the love for Treyarch. Yeah, no, Treyarch fandom is super cringy to me. There's people that as soon as COD World War II came out, the day it came out, people were like, I can't wait for Treyarch's new COD. I'm like, yo, they're not the god. They're just as flawed as every developer. Will you be trying the new Battlefield 1 weapon patch? I'm gonna get into this a little bit here. I tried it yesterday. God, this is just going to sound dramatic. There's no way to say this without sounding dramatic, so I do apologize, gentlemen. Maybe lady. I don't know if there's any ladies. I hated it. I hated it. Some of the guns felt more consistent, but I hated it. I hated it. Hated it. I hate Battlefield 1. I hate it. I hate that it doesn't give you information to work off of. I hate that it is way too fast paced and the maps force engagements. I hate that the enemy team gets a reinforcement train, airship, or battleship for losing. I hate that certain guns are variants. Instead of taking the scope off of your Springfield, you know, and playing with it like an iron-sighted sniper rifle, there's a whole other variant. Actually, I don't think there's a variant that gives you an iron-sighted Springfield. Maybe they added one, but last time I checked, the only way you could do that is by using the experimental, which is a hulking piece of garbage. So, well, okay, like for instance, you can add a bayonet to certain guns and take the bayonet off. You can change the sights. You have two choices for your irons. Only two iron sight choices, not 5, not a nice round number like 10. Only 2. Somehow, the same gun with slightly different stats because of a sight is a different gun. What the fuck? Why is the MP18 one gun and the MP18 with a sight is a different gun? There's really only like 12, maybe 20 guns in the game, really? If you don't count like here's the Sabergatti, here's the Sabergatti with a sight, here's it with a foregrip. Like, why couldn't I just customize the gun? Why can't I change the barrel length? Why can't I add different types of grips? If you're going to allow me to change the iron sights once, why not give me a couple more options? Why can I center my recoil on automatic weapons to left or right or center, but why not do muzzle brakes or compensators? Why not? They already took historical liberties by putting in experimental weapons or weapons that weren't seen in combat, like the fucking Calibri and or the Hellregale, or the Hellregale, the whatever SMG you get for doing an obscene amount of bullshit. That's okay. But God forbid I can change the barrel on my gun or customize it or saw off a stock or something. I don't know. The game could have had like all of the It didn't have to have all of the variety and all of the modern things we're used to, but it could have had the same level of love put into it that Battlefield 4 and Hardline did. Even Battlefield Hardline allows you to do more customization to the M1 carbine, Thompson SMG, and Springfield. You can, oh my god, you can customize those guns more effectively in Battlefield Hardline than you can any of the guns in Battlefield 1. In your opinion, what is the best new FPS out now? Do you mean in the last year? Because I don't know. Man, I do not know. That is really hard for me to visualize because I am not into Destiny 2. I'm not into shit, I don't know. Like in the last year? Let me know the time period, then I'll work it out. Hey, Vincent. Are you Vincent or yeah, Vincent. Hello, and Samuel Jensen. Exactly. What do you mean exactly? Like, so like within a year? Just tell me the time period from what day to what day. Because if we're talking Battlefront 2, Destiny 2, COD World War 2, I don't know. Will you get Far Cry 5? Yep, I got $60 sitting ready to buy it. I'm excited for it. Okay, year to two. Okay. Obviously, the COD community is torn between boots on ground and advanced movement. Why not occupy the middle ground, explore near future gameplay? Black Ops 2 is arguably the most successful COD. Well, the most successful COD monetarily was Modern Warfare 3. That's because of the success of Modern Warfare 2. But, yes, Black Ops 2 made a little legend for itself, and I think that's important. But in the last year or two, oh god. The only game that I really loved a lot of the features in and played a lot of was, oh no, I'm gonna get my fucking ass kicked. I'm gonna get my fucking shit kicked in, boy. Infinite Warfare? Infinite Warfare, maybe? Maybe Infinite Warfare, maybe? Maybe Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare was the only game that I would say I liked because it fleshed out things I wanted fleshed out for that franchise. It changed things I wanted changed. It put things that I wanted put in. And that's what I liked. And I got it for 20 extra bucks. I got it with Modern Warfare Remastered, which was a really fucking nice game to get for 20 extra bucks, you know? Like, because I don't hate Destiny 2, I just don't love it. There's nothing about Destiny 2 that makes me go, "Oh my god, a game for the ages." And same for Infinite Warfare in the sense that it's not a game for the ages, but Battlefield 1 didn't impress me as a Battlefield game. Destiny 2 didn't impress me as a sequel to Destiny 1. Battlefront 2 didn't impress me as a shooter in general. And COD World War 2 doesn't impress me. It works, it's fun, it plays, you can point and shoot and people usually die, but as far as that being a game that I love and I'm like, wow, this is just what the franchise needed. No, IW had a fun campaign. It's the only Call of Duty campaign with side quests and like optional missions, which was cool. I'm a huge sci-fi nerd, so I loved like the kind of grounded, realistic sci-fi that was going on in it. So yeah, I really liked it. The multiplayer got old and I never got to max prestige in it. The multiplayer got really old. It got fatiguing. The jumping around, the flying around, and the people that played it didn't value it, so they just trolled in it. They used trip mines and sat in corners, and um, but it was a good game, underrated for sure. Not the best, not the greatest, not 10 out of 10, but I'd give it a if five. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, one being horrible, five being average, 10 being phenomenal. I'd say it's a 6. It's above average. It's above average first-person shooter. In terms of new games, yes, the FPS community, I feel that. I can't really think of an FPS game that came out, like especially a multiplayer one, that I just can't stop playing. I honestly think that Rainbow Six Siege and COD World War II and Battlefield 4 are going to be the only shooters I play this year in terms of multiplayer. Like, I don't think there's enough of a player base in Hardline anymore on console. I don't think that there's a reason for me to play Destiny 2 or Battlefront 2. I don't like Battlefield 1. I'm sad. I love Battlefield. I had so much fun in the first Destiny, but then like Battlefield 1 and Destiny 2 is like, I don't know, maybe you don't deserve my playtime because I'm not feeling like I want to play. But this year we're gonna get, holy shit, like what? Get a new Halo, new COD, new Battlefield. Damn, new Kingdom Hearts. And Far Cry 5. Monster Hunter's already fucking rad. I'm loving Monster Hunter, and I'm really excited to play Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is a super like realistic medieval RPG. I don't have money for it. Maybe I'll ask for it as a birthday gift. I don't know. And then I'm enjoying Rainbow Six. So there we go. I'm all good. Whatever. You got rejected by me on Discord? No, you didn't. I just told you I wasn't going to debate you. You want to debate me, Blue? Talk about how Canada is the worst country in the world. Enjoy being America's top hat. Fuck all those games. Wow, that is just really harsh. Battlefield 1, Forza Horizon 4. That's another one. We're going to Japan. We're going to Japan, nibbas. Going to Japan. I'm actually really excited for Forza. Oh my god. Oh wow, I love Forza. I love Forza Horizon 3 and 1. I never played 2. I don't know. Is Medal of Honor series the most spectacular failure in FPS history? If not, what is? Halo. It sold itself to someone else, and then the franchise forgot who it was. I don't think Halo's a bad franchise because I don't like it, but I just feel like Halo can never be what it was. Hey Yuri, how you doing? I think Yuri's the only... I don't know. I actually don't remember who's who in my chat anymore. I actually feel really bad saying that. But I forget your guys' ages and genders because it's been so long since I've been streaming regularly. The new Avengers, yeah. The Greater Canadian Empire, motherfucker. Fuck you. Fingerless glove middle fingers are so much more threatening because all you can see is the little thing there. It should really be like Battlefield 4 where you need to get a headshot with a sniper to get a one-shot kill. Yeah. Also, it should be like Battlefield 4 in the sense that it's fun and doesn't force engagements. Every match of Battlefield 1 is more comparable to Metro or Locker. Not Caspian Border, not Firestorm. Do you guys close your eyes if you're a Battlefield fan? Close your eyes. You a Battlefield fan? Close your eyes. Close your eyes if you're a Battlefield fan. Okay, now you should only be hearing my voice, and your eyes should be closed if you're a Battlefield fan, all right? And if that is the case, remember playing on Firestorm in Battlefield 3 and 4? Think about the way that map played. Think about the way Caspian Border, Karg Island, Davaman Peak, they didn't force you to do anything. They didn't push you into engagements you didn't want. They didn't railroad you or compact you into these hallway corridors of death. They weren't this, here's this long stretch of map, go from one end to the other, battle of attrition style. It was like a sandbox. Do whatever you want, go where you want, do what you want. It was freeing, it was exciting, it was replayable. I played Battlefield 3 for over a year without one DLC. Without one DLC, over a year of just playing it. Played a little Black Ops 2 on the side, but Black Ops 2 in the face of Battlefield 3 was piss. It was piss in comparison. Battlefield 3 revitalized, and Battlefield 4 as well gives me hope for first-person shooters. Infinite Warfare as well. Because it tells me that shooters and franchises, as old as they are, they can do something that surprises you. They can refresh the franchise. They can flesh out an idea of a previous game entry. They can give you an experience you can't get anywhere else. So it tells me. And this is what bums me out about DICE and EA right now. Battlefield told me that shooters can be amazing. So think about the gameplay of any Battlefield map that isn't one of the clustering maps. There's a place for fast-paced clusterfuck combat, but there's also a place for a little bit of breathing room. You gotta get your Silk Roads. Even the biggest maps in Battlefield 1 play like medium-sized maps. They just feel too clusterfucky. I don't know. I'm done. Whammon? Wait, why is Crimson Tide whammon? Speaking of piss, you want to play Black Ops 3? No! If I play anything tonight, it'll probably be Monster Hunter or Rainbow. So we'll see what happens. Yes, Battlefield 1, even if Battlefield 1, and I would even say Battlefield 1's a solid game, it is a solid, decent game. It works as a piece of software. In comparison-wise, sucks. Have you played Skullgirls Second Encore? No, I don't think I have. Is this man in... Can you guys let me know if this man is offering me sex games? Ooh, what about Dragon Ball Fighter Z? I have never watched a Dragon Ball episode through its entirety in my entire life, so the game has no interest to me. So maybe after one day watching all of Dragon Ball Z, which would take the better part of my life, I will be interested. The only fighting game I want, RN. What does RN mean? Do you PUBG? I do occasionally PUBG. The console version's getting to a point where I would actually call it a game. Yeah. But on PC I have it. I need to update it because it was purchased for me by a subscriber, like a lot of my games, and it just fucked me, and I don't play. I don't have enough time. The game didn't fuck me. I fucked me. I fucked myself, guys. Not in the good way. It's fun though. I'm not doubting it's fun. I just wouldn't have any interest in it. Like the new Final Fantasy fighting game isn't fun to people that have never played a Final Fantasy game. Oh, it's a fighting game with fan service. Dude, if you tell me to play a game and that game gives me a boner, you're gay. Why PUBG when you can Fortnite? Don't bait people. No, you're gonna bait people. PUBG and Fortnite are not the same game. They're the same game mode, the same game type, but they're not the same game. I'm thinking about buying the Xbox One X. Is it worth it? I have a 4K monitor. I have a 4K HDR monitor here and a 4K HDR TV downstairs. I also have over 250 Xbox games that all run better and play better on the X. If you have a giant library of games and you're planning on upgrading to a 4K HDR TV soon, yes. Super fun. Super fucking fun. It doesn't, obviously your games aren't more fun if they're prettier or they run better, but playing Final Fantasy 15 in the resolution mode on an HDR TV, oh my god, it's like watching an actual Final Fantasy movie. It's phenomenal. You get a nice viewing distance and it's just flawless. It's just colorful and crisp. Hop over to Discord. Okay, you want to see how I feel about a picture? Okay. Oh no. Stop with the doki doki. I swear to God. I swear to God. Oh my God. Let's see. Want to hear a joke? H1Z1. The game before Fortnite. The game before PUBG. And people are like, fuck you. That's actually, you know what? That's kind of like, I know I can't, I was going to compare H1Z1 to Call of Duty, but Call of Duty has a fan base still. No, H1Z1 does as well. It's just, it's not the hip game. It's not the hip game, and that sucks for them. I just don't care. Hey guys, coming at you with my cosplay here of Faggot Kid. I'm tired and I'm going off of caffeine. This thing looks like a sex toy. Also looks like, right now it looks like a little pig. It's got little piggy ears. That's adorable. You want to hear a joke? My subscriber to view ratio. Oh no. DayZ on Xbox. I hope it happens, but I feel like when it happens, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be worse than PUBG. It's a much more complicated game than PUBG, and I feel like it's gonna hurt. Which FPS series has the worst fan base? Battlefield. I wouldn't have said that about 2 years ago, but when Battlefield fans realized that 4 sucked, and the only reason that it was worth playing was because, like the only reason it was worth playing is because of the fixes it was getting. How do I explain this? The Battlefield fan base wasn't as conceited and douchey when Battlefield 4 was in a state of disrepair and Battlefield Hardline wasn't getting people what they wanted. But as soon as like this whole internet thing of Battlefield 1's better than COD started, their fan base has been cancer ever since, and the only people I have blocked on my channel have been people that are hardcore Battlefield fans that stalk my videos and only comment negative shit and call me out on everything I say that doesn't praise fucking Battlefield, even if I'm not talking about Battlefield at all in the video. So, yeah, it's a little frustrating. So I would say Battlefield has the worst fan base. They're a little conceited. And what sucks is because I would consider myself a part of it if it wasn't such cancer all the time. I mean, at least they're not self-loathing. I mean, the COD community is self-loathing, and they're like guilty for enjoying it. But like, it's better than having this like God complex that, oh, my game has vehicles. Okay, that's nice. But COD isn't perfect, Battlefield isn't perfect, and as soon as people realize that shit, I don't know, I'll be out of a job. How is Best Girl? Me, Yuri, Monica, the girl who killed herself. Monica. I stop. Just just stop. Yes, because Battlefield 1 was better than IW. Yeah, Battlefield 1 was the best Battlefield game, guys. Do you want to know how I know? It's because all of the Battlefield YouTubers went over to Rainbow Six Siege. That's really funny. I need to start saying that more. Battlefield 1 is so good that Matimio decided he'd rather play Rainbow Six. Battlefield 1 is so good that Jack Frags has to constantly revisit old Battlefield games. Battlefield 1's so good that every time Westy plays it, he's either talking about an overpowered DLC gun or something he would like to see changed. Alright, see ya, Chunhos? I fucking don't know. Could you do an Xbox One X video on 7 Days to Die to show performance? You have to sell me your firstborn child, but yeah, I'll do it. I have $5. If you give me your firstborn child for $5, you can see the performance of 7 Days to Die, which is a game I own on console, and I could do it. I don't have a frame rate counter though. I'd rather play against hackers than play Battlefield 1. Yeah. I want to play Battlefield 3 on my computer now. It probably needs an update or something, or definitely Origin will. Fucking Origin. You hate Westy the most, in your opinion. I don't think Westy's that bad. There are many worse YouTubers that cover Battlefield when compared to Westy. Sometimes it's fun to talk like Westy. He makes occasionally good videos. They show up in my recommended. I watch it. I'm like, hey, that was a nice linguine, and then I leave him alone forever. Cool, thanks, dude. But like, I want Forza Horizon 3? Yuri, I don't know what you're talking about. Forza Horizon 3. I wish I had that installed on my computer. I only have it installed on my Xbox. And it's too addicting to play it in 4K in HDR. Your ass. My dick. That's what happens when you talk about... This happens when you talk shit about Call of Duty. That's what happens. Anyway. I think I might wrap the stream... I think I might wrap the stream up. I need to make tomorrow's video. Gay anime. Well, why didn't you say so? Hell yeah. Haha. My grammar is awful, smiley face. Don't worry, mine's worse. That's why I talk and don't type. You should download Grammarly. You see this little icon here, guys? This is Grammarly. And it'll look at all the things I say. So if I say poop and then poopa, it'll say, oh no, you didn't mean to say poopa, you meant to say poopy. There we go. And I say poopy man doesn't like Call of Duty. And then it's like, yeah, that's fine. Or Yep, there we go. Papa Man. Papa Man doesn't like a Call of Duty. Yeah. Oh god, there it is. And I forgot it, and then it puts it in there. Bam. Me got an edumacation. I love that gay shit. I like that you guys are so used to my bullshit. I can refer to this as my dick and this is my ass, and I can do this. Or wait, no, your ass. This is your ass. This wouldn't be possible if it was my ass. I can do that, and you guys don't even respond. You're just like, that's just, he's just being fucking, he's just being a faggot. He said duty. That's right. Call of Duty. I hate saying Call of Duty, though. Like, that's how it's supposed to be said. Call of Duty. Call of Duty. Duty. But it's Call of Duty. Call of Duty. But it's, call... Wait, how it... Call... Oh... Do... Why did it remove the first thing I wrote? So it just says, oh, duty. What? Call... Oh... Do... Why does it... Is that doing it for you guys too? Call... Duty. What the fuck? Can't time me out. I'm the streamer. I should probably head out. Make tomorrow's video. Tomorrow's video is gonna be about how Call of Duty gets wrong. Sorry, whoops. I fucked up. How Call of Duty gets how Call of Duty World War II gets wrong. Fuck me. Okay. Call of Duty World War II gets wrong what Advanced Warfare got. Call of Duty. Call of Duty gets wrong. Fuck. Call of Duty World War II gets wrong what Advanced Warfare got right. Yeah. So that's going to be the next video. I just gotta get gameplay of both. Start uploading Forza Horizon 3 content. You want me to stream it? I will just stream some Forza Horizon 3. I swear to God, I get critiqued once while I'm driving around. I get critiqued once, I am gonna throw a fucking fit. Yes, Crimson Tiger. It's February 1st for me now. If you critique me, if you critique my driving, Solstice, your ass is grass and I'm gonna blow it. I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna start saying that more. Your ass is grass and I'm gonna eat it. Because I'm a cow. You like chick with dick? Yes, you know what? I'm gonna be completely... Yes. Out of all the things I watch on the internet, that is probably one of my favorites. Don't fuck with me. You suck at driving. That's it. You changed gears too early. I did not change gears. Hey, I actually play with automatic because I'm just a casual. I like games with with manual gear changing as long as I don't have to shift into reverse. I hate that about Forza Horizon 3. I don't like having to shift into reverse. If left trigger would just reverse no matter what, it would brake and reverse no matter what, I would always do manual, but I hate having to shift into reverse. Shit is irritating. But maybe that's the kind of thing I'm worried about getting critiqued on. Same. Okay, good. Same. Somebody agrees with me. You're gonna ban me. You gotta ban them too. It's my stream. What am I saying? I'll ban them, and then I'll just leave. Okay, I'm gonna go make a video. I'm gonna play some Advanced Warfare. Oh my god, I'm gonna play Advanced Warfare. There's no way there's anybody online. I might just have to do bots, but if there are people online, I will get online gameplay because nobody likes it when I play against bots. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know, trying to make a living. Did you guys like that I wrecked one of those fucking bunny rabbit things in Monster Hunter World? I don't know if you guys watched my Monster Hunter video, but my fake generic YouTuber impersonation was probably I don't know. I was tired when I'm in the video. Sure, Yuri. Are you gonna stream more? Either later tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, we should do more streams. This is fun. All right, talk to you guys later. I can't wear out my voice any more than I already have, so I'm gonna go. If you guys are watching this in post, why did you sit all the way through this? You fucking idiot. Value your time more than you do. See you when I see you guys. It's been fun. Thanks for being cool. Yeah. Goodbye.